Hello, friends, and welcome to the Handyman Success Podcast. Our mission is to teach and inspire by sharing the stories and insights of our guests. Whether you're a prospective, new, or seasoned handyman business owner, you will learn practical business tips you can apply today and be inspired that you can reach your goals and create a better tomorrow. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Call, owner of Handyman Marketing Pros. We equip small, family-owned handyman businesses with modern websites and SEO to help grow their businesses online. I'm joined by my co-host, Alan Lee, who has built his handyman business to a point where it runs without him. He now teaches others, step by step, how to do the same thing through his Handyman Journey business coaching. You can learn more about our marketing and coaching services by scheduling a call with us on handymansuccess.net. So whether you're patching drywall, sitting in the office, or making your third run to Home Depot, we invite you to pull up a chair and sit with us on another episode of the Handyman Success Podcast. Hello, friends. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're joined by Ty Gardner out of Loveland, Colorado. His business is Simple Man Handyman. Ty, thanks so much for joining us today, man. If you could give us a little snapshot about your business, where you're located, and the story of how you started your handyman business.
Yeah, great. Thank you again for having me on. Simple Man Handyman started the business in Loveland, Colorado. Born and raised here, so this is home to me. Started the business 6 years ago, or a little bit over 6 years ago. And we'll obviously get into it some, but been through it all in the last 6 years, it feels like. But honestly, never really envisioned myself as a handyman, as most people, I think. I don't even know it was a career path, growing up. I went to college, got a degree in exercise science. I was going to be a physical therapist, and that actually helped convince my wife to marry me because she thought I had a good plan for a career.
Mom,
and then
got her.
I got her.
Got her.
Got her. And then, as soon as we got married, I was a senior in college, and I got my degree and everything, but I was like, I don't know if I want to go to graduate school. I don't know if this is for me. So got into sales after that, eventually found myself in roofing sales, which kind of got me into the industry of meeting with customers and estimating a little bit and that sort of thing. And growing up, my dad was always a handyman, so I had kind of a base handy skill level. But as I was in roofing, our winters were really slow because it's snowy here and not much to do. So I got bored, and the brain just started working, and I always knew I wanted to eventually start my own thing. And I kind of probably went through 15 different business ideas that I pitched to my wife and kind of start business plans on. And most of them I didn't go with because the initial investment was too much and we didn't have very much money. And handyman, I felt like it was a thing that I could do relatively well, and what I couldn't do well, I could learn. And honestly, when I was roofing, it just felt like we would sometimes try to find handymen to do some of the small jobs that we wouldn't do. And it was really hard to find people that would actually communicate and show up and that I actually liked working with. So felt like there was totally a market for it. I felt like I was moderately handy, but I was very good at communicating, very good with customers. And so I just kind of started off during our slow season and did it on the side with the roofing thing for a few months. But after a few months, I told my boss I was gone from roofing and never looked back.
Awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that story. And if most people listen, but if you are watching, we know that Ty is a great guest because he's got paint, maybe some drywall on the fingers. Thanks again for taking the time to chat with us, man. So you've been in business 6 years. And if you don't mind, kind of walk us through what's your journey been like over 6 years, like as far as, your growth. And I know from our initial conversation of why I wanted to have you on is kind of your contraction as well, but by design to simplify things, which I thought your name, Simple Man Handyman, was perfect for that. So if you don't mind, kind of give us a snapshot of that 6 year journey and kind of, what you've been through, if you don't mind tying in some revenue numbers and the number of team members you had and ultimately land of, where you're at right now.
Yeah. Happy to go through that. Started 6 years ago. It was about, it was from January 2019 until June 2019 that I did it on the side. part-time. And then I think it was June, it may have been May, somewhere around there, that I went full-time with it. Didn't necessarily have enough to be full-time at that point, but I felt like if I stopped spending as much time with my roofing position, that I could make it enough, and I did, and that's been a blessing. We've always had enough, since starting the business, and that's been awesome. So, first 2 years about in business. First year, I gross revenue was 50,000. Second year was 115,000, and that was all by myself. Kept everything solo. Which, looking back, I mean, it was awesome in a lot of ways. I had so much control over my schedule, so much ability to spend with my kids. We got 3 kids, and my wife, and that was awesome. Um, but I also look back and there's like a lot of jobs that I did by myself, and it's like that was not a good idea. Like I should have had somebody there with me,
Huh.
just up on high ladders, putting big sheets of siding on, and just crazy stuff that I'm like, there's no way I would do that now. But you make it work when you're first in business. So
Yeah.
first 2 years was by myself, and I never, when I started the business, wanted to grow it. I kind of thought I never want to have a boss again, and I never want to be a boss. Um, but the positive and negative of being good at your job and having good customers that trust you and good reviews on Google and all that stuff is naturally demand kept increasing to where I couldn't keep up anymore. So I had no idea what I was doing, but I was like, I got to hire someone. So 2 years in, I hired a guy. He had been in like the restaurant business and hospitality and a couple different things. Had never really done this, but brought him on. Really nice guy. He was a helper for me. So 2 years in, I brought him on, and then a few months later, I brought someone else on. So suddenly we had 3 people, and that year was actually pretty good. I got busier. Every time I've hired someone, I thought, I'm doing this so that I'm not as busy. And every time I hired someone, I got busier, which was a lot of it. I mean, a lot of it was, I just didn't have, you guys talk a lot about systems, and I just had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't have systems set up. I just was like, I need help, so I'm going to hire people. But all I was doing was hiring people that didn't have the skill set to take any weight off of me. Um, and I'm pretty meticulous about quality and making sure that we are doing an excellent job for people. So I would just kind of stress, about all of that stuff on any job that any of us 3 were on then. And so, but the first year was good. I liked the guys that worked for me. My income did increase that year, and our revenue went up. Let's see, 2020 was 115, 2021 went up to 270,000. So I just kept growing it kind of reluctantly. Like we just kept getting business, and I was like, all right, we're just going to do this. Like we're going to go crazy, and we're going to become a massive handyman company. So 2022, I hired 2 more guys. So we went from me and 2 employees to me and 4 employees. Gross revenue went up to 390,000. My net did not go up at all, but my headache went up. So that was fortunate.
Were those 2 technicians that you hired in 2022?
Yeah, I kind of did it very differently than you did, where everyone was a technician for the first while. So yeah, 2021 was 2 techs. 2022 was 2 more techs. Yeah, and I mean it was just wild. I was just getting up at 5 o'clock or earlier every morning and doing 2 to 3 hours of work before my kids would wake up, and then I'd be working all day. And I mean, it was good in some ways, but it was a grind, and I felt not as present as I wanted to be with my kids. But alas, my thought was, well, I probably just need to keep hiring people.
Yeah, of course. Just keep going. Let's do it.
So I'm just going to keep going crazy. So 2023, we started the year with me and 4 employees. And then by March-ish, I had gone up to 8 employees.
Wow.
Which was 7 techs and 1 office person, finally. Yeah, so that was wild. So I went from 4 to 8, and then I kind of had a mental breakdown. and realized this is unmanageable and my life is going crazy and our quality is going down and I don't know how to run this business. Uh, and this is no diss on anybody that I hired because I really liked everyone that I hired. A lot of them did a really good job. Obviously, there was struggles, and there always are with a business and with employees, but it was just kind of getting out of control, and it kind of felt like I had forgotten why I started the business. I started the business so I could have a better work-life balance, so I could be there for my kids at the important moments, and so that I could provide a good service. And it felt like the service was going down, my ability as a dad and as a husband was going down. So I kind of decided to blow it all up and gave everyone a few months notice and just told them kind of the situation, told them just how it was not working to manage it and it was kind of spiraling out of control. So gave everyone a few months, tried to give them, as much heads up as possible. Like, this is what we're going to do. It's not you, it's me,
George Costanza. Yeah.
So we then went down to, I kept one guy with me after that time. So June 2023, we went from me and 8 employees to me and 1 employee. And it was heavenly. It was after the few years of just grinding like crazy, it was just a relief to do that. Other than it sucked to tell everyone that I was making that decision, and that was really, really hard because I cared about them, and it was important to me to provide good jobs for the guys, and so that sucked. But then once we went through with it, it was just a weight off of my shoulders, total relief. So yeah, that year I did 390,000 again, which was similar to the year before. My net had gone down by about 20,000 though. So my income was, and mainly that was just because I was crazy and I hired all those people so fast and I was paying them and sacrificing my income. So anyways, that was a good learning experience. And then kind of fast forward through the next little bit. Last year was great. It was just me and the one guy all year. Our gross revenue went down to 280,000, but my net income increased by about 20,000. And now we're kind of at a crossroads here because so as of this moment, I still have that one guy with me full time. He's awesome, wonderful. And then we've also developed a relationship with a subcontractor. He's got his own RV repair business, and he's supplementing his business with doing handyman work on the side. Basically, he's taking on some of the things that we wouldn't do and that are outside of our area. Totally as a subcontractor, like he's not an employee for us at all, but it's a relationship that I've been able to manage, and he's a good guy that we've been able to send some things to. So as far as in-house though, I still have one employee. We do sub out some things to this other guy, and I'm kind of in the process of deciding if I want to hire another person now. I've worked out all my systems and they're all ready, but I kind of have a little bit of PTSD from my experience last time. But we've done, and hopefully this isn't bragging, but we do very, very good work. So we're at the point again where it's very natural that it's getting harder to manage all the work that we have. So kind of in the crossroads of deciding if I want to bring one guy very carefully and very slowly on or because we've raised our rates this year and business has just increased, and so yeah, kind of figuring that out, but I'm not going to do what I did before.
Yeah.
Whatever the future holds now.
That's amazing. And thank you so much for sharing that. Like that takes some guts to share that story and, the highs and the lows and the kind of having to go back on, what you thought you were going to do. And it's really cool to see. And I love how in 2024 you said my gross profit went down, but my net profit went up. Like that's, or gross revenue, but my net went up. And that's just beautiful because at the end of the day, like that's what really matters, So that is really cool. I want to say thank you for sharing that.
Oh yeah, and not only did my gross go down and net go up, but my hours worked per week went from 60 plus to 35.
That's a win right there. That's a win that's not measured in in monetary value.
Exactly. And that's
like
the
being able
big
to
thing.
spend more time with your kids and your wife. That's worth everything.
Hey, quick break. If you are spending more time chasing invoices and doing paperwork than you are actually doing the actual physical work, I want to let you in on a little secret. We are working on a CRM built by handymen for handymen, and it launches this Labor Day. Go on over to handymanchampion.com to get on the early access list, and we'll make sure you get all of the details.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and Ty's got 3 kids. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
And so one quick tangent to, or one quick point on like the hours worked. I love tracking or being mindful of your hours worked as an owner, because it can go crazy if you let it. But if you're tracking that, you can come up with your own hourly rate. So, if you're working 60 hours, but you're not making 50% more than your 40 hours, then it's not efficient, like it's not scalable. So it's really good to be honest with your hours. So I commend you on that, Ty. I commend you on just sharing that, man, and having the honest look at your situation and being like, I need to change. Because a lot of people, they don't make that decision until it's too late. And things can blow up. Relationships can get damaged. People can be left out on a limb, lose their deposits. Employees could not get 2 months notice. That's an amazing thing that you did for those people, to give a 2-month notice. So I commend you for that. That's it just shows your heart, true care for these people. So in all this, if you don't mind, like, what was the moment that you hit where you just knew, like, I need to change, like, I need to deconstruct all of this? Like, was there a specific moment, or did you just kind of get fed up and knew you needed to change?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a building for months. To kind of piggyback off of what you just said, I had been running some calculations on the amount of time I was working and basically how much per hour I was making. And I realized I was the lowest paid guy per hour in my business. And it's like, man, what am I doing? So that, and then just feeling just feeling like no matter what, like when I was with my kids or my wife, my mind was always elsewhere. And I'm not, I mean, I'll be honest, like it's different now, but as a business owner, that's always a struggle. I'm sure you guys understand, like that is always a struggle because there's always stuff going on. But just getting to that point, and like I pretty much just sat down and I looked at the numbers, realized I was making less. I was the lowest paid guy in my business per hour. Our quality was going down, so all I was doing was I mean, luckily we maintained a good reputation throughout of this because our quality would go down, but I would go fix everything myself, which is bad. I should have enabled people to do that and trained better, and that's all on me. Like this is all just a business owner that didn't know what he was doing. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of sitting down, looking at the numbers. That was a big point. Looking at my mind being present with my family, that was a big point. And I'd say, yeah, just kind of those two things coming together. It was something that kind of over maybe a month period of time that it was running in my head, but there was the other side of me thinking like, man, these people are counting on me. Like I can't just, I can't do that to them. But it got to a point where it was like, I don't know if I can sustainably actually provide a good job for these people anymore. Like if I'm not at a spot where mentally, emotionally, all this, that I'm like at a spot where I can actually do a good job in providing good jobs, providing good systems for my employees and thus also for our customers, then it's like it's not worth it. And I'm not doing them any favors by keeping them on if this is going to be a train wreck. And like you said, down the road, if something's going to happen and I'm just going to have to let everyone go out of the blue. So it felt like it was a good, just a step that I had to do in order to figure things out. And then in the future up to now and going forward from here, there's just so much I learned from it that I think I can hopefully apply and do better this time.
Yeah. Well, for what it's worth, man, I think that you have so many great like leadership qualities of being honest with yourself, making the hard decision to tell people 2 months. I mean, give people 2 months notice. You care about people. I think if you take your character and who you are and put some systems around the business, I think you could do the same scale, but much more profitably, with less stress, with a lot of patience,
Hmm.
because you've got the characteristics and you honest about the learning opportunities. Anything else come to mind as far as this whole experience before we kind of move on to the nuts and bolts of the business? And of course, if Alan has any other specific questions, but what were, in your mind, some of the biggest takeaways from this growth and contraction that you learned, that I guess guidance or advice that you would give to someone in that situation or prevent them from going into themselves?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things would be growth for the sake of growth is
Mm,
not the way to go.
Hmm.
right.
Um, you've got to have your personal and your business values, motivations, kind of what is your purpose for doing what you're doing. You've got to have that figured out. And then if growth aligns with that, then it's a good thing. But if growth does not align with that and you're just growing because you feel like you have to, or you feel like that's the only way to do things, then you're not doing yourself any favor. You're not doing the people you work for any favor. You're not doing your employees any favors. So just having your why, having your reason is kind of the base. I think the most important thing. And that's not to say that growth is bad. And like I said, it's very possible we're at a point of slow growth again now. But just if you're gonna grow, like it's important to know why you're growing. And then second of all, just what destroyed us was I thought I understood our numbers and I didn't. And I thought I could. I don't even think I just did not have systems in place. Period. And then what happened was I grew, and by the time I had 4, 5, 6 people, I'm then developing systems, and it's just giving everyone whiplash because I'm like, okay, here's our new system, and it's like, never mind, that's not going to work. Here's our new system. Here's our new system. So obviously, you can't develop every system before you start hiring people, but it's important to at least have some groundwork of what is this going to look like at this step, what is this going to look like at the next step. And I think if I did that better, then it all would have gone smoother. But and then the third thing that I would say, so there's your why, there's the systems, and then the third thing is like it's your business. I had a realization kind of recently, but it's your business. Like it's your baby, and
Mm,
that means you're the one in control of what the business looks like. You're the one in control of what it means for your life. You're the one in control for, and also liable for like the quality you provide for people. So, for me, that meant 2 years ago that I needed to shrink it down in order to make it a good thing again. And so, I guess the third thing is just like you're the one that knows best what your business needs and what you and your family need. And sometimes it can be scary. Always it can be scary when you're owning a business and running a business to make decisions. But I mean, you're the one that ultimately you trust your gut as far as what you need to do, even if it's a hard decision.
Hmm.
I love that growth for the sake of growth isn't worth it. I love that takeaway. I think that's super smart because I think a lot of people come into this business and they just say, I want to grow it. I just want
Mm-hmm.
to grow it, right? Because that's like, I think people are stuck with this thought of like, well, that's what businesses do. They grow,
Yep.
and they feel like they just have to. Like there's some sort of outside force that's like saying if they don't grow it, then they're a weaker human being. And I don't think that's the truth. I think that's the thing I love about like this podcast and the Handyman Success is like it's all about what success looks like to you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Success
Mm-hmm.
doesn't look the same to everybody. One guy's success might look like having a $10 million a year business.
Mm-hmm.
Success to another guy might just be, hey, just pay the bills so that I can spend time with my wife and kids. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. Both of them are okay, but it's finding what success looks like for you. So, what do you think like success looks like for you? Like, do you have that picture in mind after coming through this experience? And like, because you said you're kind of at this crossroads. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
what's kind of going through your mind? Do you think, what's success look like to you?
Yeah. I mean, I think I fall somewhere in the middle. I kind of have two minds that are always battling. One is this hyper growth, hyper business minded side of me. And one is the motivation for what I named my business, what it is, Simple Man Handyman. Like, I'm a pretty simple guy. Like, I
Right.
don't like having nice things. I don't save money to buy nice things. Like, I drive a beat up truck. I would prefer a 30-year-old truck over a brand new truck. I prefer just being able to live a simple life where I'm an available and present dad. So I kind of have these two sides that are always battling, and in the end, I think what that means is somewhere in the middle is kind of my ideal of success, where I can build a small team around me, so that I can have those relationships, have people that I can teach and that I can learn from, and that we can collaborate with. Because it's cool, like having the one guy with me that's been with me for the last couple of years. It's been awesome because it's like it is better than just when it was me, because we can collaborate, we can bounce ideas off of each other. There's things he's better at than I am. There's things I'm better at than he is, and so that's cool. Um, and I think because we're so hardcore committed to quality and reputation, I'm. It makes sense for me to manageably grow the business, um, so that we can keep serving people. Because what I don't want to get to a point, the challenge of just staying really small and never growing is eventually, when you have a good reputation, a lot of referrals, good reviews on Google, you're not going to be able to help all of your existing customers.
Right.
And I don't want to get to a point where it's like, man, I've been helping you for 6 years and I love working for you, but suddenly I can't help you for 3 months. And so you're going to find somebody else. Because those relationships are important to me. So I want to make sure that I can always handle and manage the people that we've developed relationships with already. And naturally, that will require a small team. But I think I can limit my hyper growth and keep a better work-life balance by keeping my service area really small. Another thing that we did when we grew is I increased my service area. So part of the problem was whenever there was a problem that I had to go manage, I'd be driving all over the place.
Yeah.
And if there was 3 jobs going on in a day, they may be 45 minutes from each other. Maybe I'm at the far south end of our territory, and then I go up to the far north end and then back to the far south end, and it's all over the place. So I've just really kept our service area. Like I said, we sub out a little bit outside of Loveland, but we really are just servicing Loveland, which is 80,000 people. So every job I do is within 15 minutes max of my house, usually less. I mean, I did 2 jobs this morning, and one was 3 minutes from my house and one was 2 minutes from my house. And that's just awesome. Like, it's just really nice to finish working and come home. So I think one of the keys to me straddling that line between hyper growth and just staying a really small, just me business is keeping that service area small. That's going to slow down our growth. And I think it's going to allow us to grow at a rate that is manageable for me without making the mistakes that I did last time.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're kind of. Oh, sorry, Alan. Go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead, Jason.
Okay, I was just gonna say you're like speaking to my heart, man. You got the 2 voices, the growth. You got the simplicity. What you said. I agree with a lot with what you said, and it's kind of in this realm of subjectivity as far as growth and what is prudent, and that's one of my favorite words in business is what's prudent, because usually it's some combination of between simple and growth. And so I think that I don't know the right answer, but I know that you're on the right path to kind of figure that out, and really caring about your clients to not have them wait 3 months. I think that the right answer is usually a patient growth that's profitable. So anyway, I just want to say that you're speaking my heart there. It's good to be. And I hope that anyone listening is the biggest takeaway I think from what Ty just shared was just being honest with yourself and where your business is at and what you want from it, because it is in your control. And you can make a hire, expand your service area, and that's going to change your life and your operations. And it's not as simple as just to remove it all back. You have to be really patient and prudent in the decisions that you're making to grow, that fits with you, your family, your team, your goals. And the answer is not cookie cutter, but I think your internal thinking and how you're approaching it patiently, I think that that's the right track to be on. So anyway, that's just my thought. There's no question there. I love this conversation.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
All right, friends, that's a wrap of this episode of the Handyman Success Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on your journey in building a thriving handyman business. We would love to hear your thoughts on this episode. Whether you learned something new or you're facing challenges that you're just not quite sure how to deal with, we would absolutely love to hear from you. We would love it if you would leave us a review, drop us a comment, or hit that like button telling us that you liked this episode. By doing this, you truly help and support us in creating more of these podcast episodes to help change the handyman industry to something amazing. And I want you to remember that you are not alone on this journey. Jason and I are here to help. If you need anything at all in regards to business or marketing, you can reach out to either Jason or I at handymansuccess.net. You can go over there right now and set up a free consultation call with either of us. We would absolutely love to talk with you. So thanks again for spending this time with us. And until next time, go out and be a blessing.